Now, this mass neurosis, meaninglessness, is to be explained, as I see it, mainly in two directions. First, in contrast to an animal, man is not told by drives and instincts what he simply must do. Furthermore, in contrast to man in former times, today he is no longer told by traditions and traditionally and universally held values what he should do. Now, neither knowing what he must do nor what he should do, he sometimes seems no longer to know what he basically wishes to do. And what is the consequence? Either he just wishes to do what other people are doing. This is conformism. Or else he just does what other people wish him to do. And this is totalitarianism. Now, this is the origin of the existential vacuum. Meaning can be found by each and every person irrespective of his age, irrespective of his sex, irrespective of his educational background, irrespective of his IQ, irrespective of his personal character structure or psychological makeup, even irrespective of environment. Just think of Auschwitz, of prisons, and of the people who are very successful and yet bored. And finally, it turned out that meaning is available to man in principle, irrespective of whether or not he is religious, and if he is religious, to which denomination he belongs.
Let's explore just for a moment how we find that meaning. Let's say that I'm just an average sort of chap. I have never been through the concentration camp, so I don't have I haven't been tested through suffering, for example. I live a very comfortable life. Perhaps I don't have a belief in God. Maybe I'm bored with my job. Maybe I'm bored with my family. But you say I can still find meaning in my life, and it's important I find it. Where do I find it? What do I latch on to?
There are three main avenues, as it were, leading up to meaning fulfillment. The first way, the first road on which you may arrive at meaning to fulfill, to find and to fulfill, is through work, through creating a work or doing a deed. Second, through love, through experiencing someone in his very uniqueness, and this means loving. Love is more than just sex. On the contrary, human sex is more than mere sex, precisely to the extent to which it serves as the bodily incarnation, I may say, a mode of expression, the physical mode of expression of one's love, of a personal togetherness, of getting hold of another person in his very uniqueness, and seizing the uniqueness of another person. This equivalent is the very definition of love. Anyway, you may enrich your inner life through experiencing something, culture, nature, art, or whatever, through research, through experiencing something or encountering someone in his very uniqueness, in other words, through love. Work and love are the main avenues leading up to meaning. But if need be, if you are confronted with a fate you no longer can change, if you are confronted, say, with an incurable disease, with an inoperable cancer, even then you may find a meaning. You may even find the deepest possible, the highest conceivable meaning, because you then have an opportunity to bear witness of the human potential at its best, of the most human of all human capacities, which is to turn a tragedy into a personal triumph, to turn your predicament into an achievement on the human level. No animal can do anything like this. No animal asks the question whether its life has a meaning or not. But no animal is capable of even turning a predicament into an achievement. Man alone. But if he so does, then he has reached the peak of whatever man is capable of.